I have a bit of a trouble with the voice today, but it doesn't matter because we are having a very interesting launch, relatively recent one, from the Wicked Widow, and it's a Clairvoyant. So this palette is not what it seems from the first sight. This is a very gothic kind of vibe, and I was really excited to see this palette at first, but then I opened it and I was like, this is a pastel rainbow dream. What do we have actually? And how good are these pastels? We have 4 shimmer shades, others are just mattes. So we will find out how the formula is, what it is about. I will do 4 makeup looks together with you, including this one, and in the format of the color family, gray and some graphic. And 1 shimmer, of course, and some graphic, because that's just a way to get your colorful makeup more interesting. So if you're curious about that, big thanks to the brand for sending this to me in PR, and let's begin. It's super hot in here still, even though the temperature dropped, but the houses are just keeping the warmth inside, and you know, the isolation and all that stuff, just working not in a good way for the European houses in this summer temperatures. And I am here with the Clairvoyant by Wicked Widow. It's a very gothic packaging, but inside we have a ray of sunshine, a bit of a rainbow, let's say. And I have one idea that I want to translate into this whole situation. I want to try the grain pink today, as just the colors, you know, very subtle, very kind of not right in your face, but it's a pastel palette. Like, you see colors more concentrated, that they will appear on at the end. So I have already MAC Multi-Sculpt in Brûlée on my eyelids, and I'm starting with the shade Supernatural. It's a gray with a slight purplish undertone, I would say. It's a very nice overall undertone of the gray, and I do enjoy this one. It fits me and I like it, so there are a couple of options basically. I'm applying it into the inner corner, and then by the bottom lid I'm going into the outer corner, so we only have the halo effect on the top lid. I saw the reference in Instagram, and good references, the ones that are inspiring, are actually rarely seen. This one is by Saroka Irina, and she's a very cool artist. I used to take her masterclasses that you can buy actually and watch. And then I'm going to the shade Perspective. Perspective is super pastel pink. Even on me it kind of looks very pastel-y, and this creates our halo, so we don't need any more colors. This is good enough. A couple colors are just what you need, and this pastel pink blends nicely with the gray as well. So on the edge here, because the gray has this purplish undertone, they mix into each other very nicely. So I'm gonna go back and forth with the Perspective and Supernatural just to have it kind of blended together. I also want to darken some of the areas a bit more. This is not super dark shade, so you still may need something, and ideally you would work on the some colored base in order to achieve the most pigmentation out of this. But this is not what I do with the reviews usually, and that's why it's not exactly this way. So once I'm more or less happy with the intensity and everything, I'm gonna switch to an empty brush. An empty brush is just my blending. I'm gonna blend here and there, especially the edges, both on the bottom lid and to the top. So I'm not touching anything big really, but this helps to understand where exactly the socket is and how to blend it out. Now we pretty much ready for our shimmer, and we have only 4 shimmers here, so I was thinking about 4 makeup looks, which would make sense to me personally. So the shimmer is called Divine. It's a bit more crumbly, but not super, like, it's not flakes or anything. It's just a bit more like sand, like kinetic sand, as I tend to say about this texture. It's not emollient or anything like that. It's more on the dry side. And I'm just tapping it onto the middle of the moving lid, and this will create the effect I need. Once it's done, I think we are ready to proceed. I'm thinking to add here some graphic liner. because this look in itself is quite simple and I want to add something more interesting into it. And once I'm done, I will come back to you with both eyes finished. So this is the look. I feel a bit weird, to be honest, and as I said, this is made by the reference from Soroka Irina, and I really like this vines kind of things, and I even found the earrings from Punk Youth that are kind of very similar to this style. So you can see that they also have vines and some rhinestones, and here you have also kind of the same approach but with the black liner. This is done using the Judy Doll Slim Liquid Eyeliner in black. This is one of the thinnest eyeliner brushes that I've ever seen, and if you are using just the very tip of it, you can trace out the shape first before filling it. So I'm filling it with a bit more liner, as you can see, so it's a more visible, but you can also use very thin line just to kind of outline things the way you like it. For the shimmer itself, I see a lot of multicolored sparkles. It's also duochroming to me, so it has a very soft peach and very soft pink, so two colors that I see, and a lot of colored sparkles. So it's interesting, but only when you look up close. So this is a shade for you, not for others to see. And this is more subtle, more like more to yourself, kind of more reserved shimmer. The texture was pretty good. It's not super dry, it's not flaky, it's slightly crumbly, but not like flakes that are crumbly. It's more like this kinetic sand, as I say about the texture, and I'm generally not against it. It can be applied with a brush normally, and it can be applied with a finger as well. I just prefer fingers usually. With a silicone brush, I'm not sure. So here I would go either with a brush or with a finger. The mattes are good. The mattes were blended wonderfully, both with a synthetic brush and with the natural bristles. You can see that this palette allows a combinations of gray with gray plus, so gray can work with any of these colors, or you can combine the colors themselves in a rainbow format. So by the color wheel, you can go pretty much from one into another. Gray can be your grounding point, let's say it like that, and it's the darkest also in this palette. So you have all the other things that are more like lighter and medium shades. So the purple for me is a medium shade, others are pretty much lighter shades, and we have only 4 shimmers in here. It's overall very, very pastel-y palette, so you see the color more intense that it will be applied to you. So it's very whitened, very pastel, and you have to be aware of that. And sometimes this is very good. Like, my soul is not very pastel-y in itself, but I do love the Gothic stuff. I'm not sure what the idea behind this packaging versus the color story itself, but honestly, I don't mind that. I like this clairvoyant girl who's veiled and she's like doing something, predicting the future or something like that. And this pastel colors are also just generally nice. And for the summer, I think it's great. Like, as an idea of the palette itself, I think it's great. So yeah, the Gray Plus is the options here, and you can see that it's still very subtle but very pretty, and so far I'm really enjoying how it works. No problems, but if you want a bit more color payoff, you need to work on the colored bases instead of just applying it to the base on the lids, because on white base it will pop even more, and here it's a bit more subtle, muted kind of situation. But I really like it. I'm thinking that I really like it so far. It's not complicated, but it's still very pretty and very wearable as well. Like, I can imagine myself wearing this kind of makeup. I don't have a symmetry. I fluffed up the symmetry on these eyes. One is more arched, or one is less, and the ending is also a bit different, but whatever. From afar, I don't think it actually matters. So far I'm pretty happy with everything. I think it looks really good. What else do I have on my face? NARS Oslo Light Reflecting Foundation. I'm just trying to get the last bits of it. Sephora contour stick I used. Then I bought myself a couple of new MAC blushes. So they released the Skin Finish Color Stroke blush some time ago, and I wanted to try them, and I have been eyeing this La Lavender. I'm always removing one of the last La 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 Lavender. So it's not a matte blush, this is like a sheen blush. It almost doesn't have a color, it's more like a mixing product, so it can neutralize the yellowness, it can help with some shades to become a bit more cool, and it has a light sheen so that you get kind of almost like a highlighter, but not exactly a highlighter. You see how pale it is. So it's, in my opinion, this is more like a mixing blush than anything else. And I'm using it today on myself. A lot of lavender blushes on me turn more pink, and that's why you have this. It's a bit dead looking, let's be honest, but I still very much enjoy it, and this looks good. I also have another one that is called Snob. This one is a matte blush. Matte blush is a bit different. The texture, as you can see, also this one would have fitted also nicely to this look, but I decided to go with La Lavender first and just to test it out, kind of. Then, as my highlighter today, I have this Judy Doll Crystal Halo Glow Magnify Highlighter. This is a magnifying glass, kind of. As you can see, it's very interesting packaging, and it has like this glass, the magnifying glass, but it's very subtle as well, sheen, and this highlighter is transparent base, so it gives you the wet effect, as you can see, on top of anything else, and it enhances the color, give this a glassy look. So I like this one. I don't like the terms of work with Judy Doll, how they send the PR and how they request stuff for it. Like, it's supposed to be a campaign, but it's just a PR, and oh well. But anyway, highlighter is this one. On my lips today I have Miss Thais 776. This is a purplish liner, so I'll outline the lips and then fill it in with this, and then on top I applied the number 00 by Hintor. This is a little bunny gloss, and this one is like a milky purple, so I think it's a good combination, and I do like how this looks in general. But so far that is it. That's all I have on my face, and I actually cut myself some strands in the front just to have a face framing, kind of, but I'm not sure if it looks okay or not. I just wanted something a bit more structural on my hair, but whatever. And that's pretty much it. That's the makeup look, that's the stuff I did, and I will see you in the next one soon. So this is gonna be a very quick look. Something's happening with my face, probably had a hormonal shift again, so don't mind me, it's just gonna be like that for a while. So today I want to do something orange, yellow and gray. Gray is the only color actually here that is supposed to darken things up. Of course you can mix others as well, but I kind of want to try this. So with a flat brush I'm going to the shade Veil. I'm gonna tap it onto my lid up to the crease, just above the crease, so that you can see the yellow a bit, and then I'm also dragging it onto the bottom lid. This shade can remove itself, so you gotta be careful. It can be illuminated with a specific colored base or with a bit more sticky base. Not exactly like a glitter glue, but a bit more wet base that you apply of the shadows. That way is also very much possible to make it stick better. Or on white base. For example, Day Day Signature has a white base, and this one will look wonderful on that. So next I will take the shade Oracle and place it onto the other part of this eyelid. So I'm mixing them in the center. As you can see, they're mixing very nicely, and I don't see any problems with that. So that you can cover up the here and there. Once I'm more or less happy with the Oracle, I'm going back and forth with two of the shades. This is a very quick look, there's nothing too crazy about it, honestly, and I'm just gonna enjoy the process. Then I will go to the shade Supernatural, it's the gray one. I'm starting with the outlines of the bottom of the outer third of the eye. So I'm placing it into the outer corner of the eye, and then from there I'm blending it forward and backward, just so I can have the shade in the areas where I need it. I'm kind of outlining whatever I drew with the color in gray. I think that will look amazing in this scenario, so bear with me. So then I want to extend the yellow onto the bottom a little bit more, and that will just help me And I'm also adding a bit of orange in there too. I think that the gray liner would look wonderful in here. I'm thinking to add that instead. So anyway, we are ready for our shimmer. Shimmer is called Future. It's a bit of duochroming shade and it's not oily or anything. You may benefit from the glitter glue for this one, but honestly I think it will touch itself without problems here as well. So I'm just tapping it all over the lid. This is going to be my main shade anyway, and I'm gonna use the hell out of it on the moving lid. Yeah, and pretty much in a few minutes we are done with this look, because this looks great to me. It's super bright and it has a bit of a darkening, like a bit of color in there, so I don't mind that. And I think overall it performs really well. The gray liner, as I said, is gonna be the thing here, and then I will come back to you with a finished both eyes, finished face. This is the look and I'm super happy. Actually, look at the intensity of these mattes. The mattes themselves are applying really nicely. They are bright, they are pigmented, they are indeed pastel. As you can see, it's clearly a pastel, whitened out, but they are applying and holding quite normally. Of course, on the base, on white base or a colored base, this will look even more bright and even more, it will stick even more, so you will not have any problems with that. But I am just enjoying these mattes. These pastels are kind of good. Not the level of Beauty Bay pastels probably, because to me that palette was like insanely good, but very, very close, very close. And I mean it. So these pastels are nice, they are blendable, they are pigmented, they look really good, and they are vivid. So I'm pretty happy. The shimmer shade here is actually also with a lot of tiny sparkles, but they are so subtle. So the sparkles in this shade are not really seen that much, and it's actually a multi-chrome, but you will not see it on the eyes. You will see only the duochrome just because of how the eye surface is looking. On the finger, because there is a like a triangular area, a pyramid kind of. On the finger you can see more colors, and this is what I'm demonstrating as well, but on the eyelid it's usually just 2. Maximum 3 when you have like a specific additional light to catch the things, but overall I see 2. It's subtle, it's fitting, so it doesn't overpower the mattes, but I think the mattes in this palette are the star of the show. So I am enjoying it a lot. The yellow and orange now touched. The only things I've added basically to this whole simple look, so by itself the look was simple, but by adding a bit of gray liners, I used, by the way, the Judy Doll Black Gray 06. So this black gray is very, very sturdy liner. It's crazy hard to remove it. I don't know why. Even harder than the black one. And yeah, I did this line art a little bit with this look, and I think it elevated the look tremendously. So it's not as simple anymore. It has a bit of an interest. It's still kind of cohesive in my opinion, but yeah. The liner in my waterline is actually Banana Smoothie from the Pastel palette by Mitchell. This is the color case Pastels, and Banana Smoothie is very nice shade. It looks much more pale yellow in the pan, but it's quite yellow on the eyes. So, as I said, if you're applying it to the colored base or to the white base, this will look crazy pigmented. So I'm really happy about that, and even without that, even without the colored base, it looks good. So if you are struggling, if you want some pastels, this can be one way to grab them for yourself, considering that this pretty much all pastel palette. And very compact one as well. I don't like, don't get me wrong, I am not the biggest fan of using the tabletop type palette. The bigger it is, the more problematic it is for me. I prefer something in the 15, maximum 18 shades. And sometimes I do get like 20, 25, 30 shades palette, and it's not always my favorite to use because it's huge, it's taking a lot of space. I like something more compact. And pastel palette, I do have different pastel palettes. I have a Pastel Garden, I have Pastels by Beauty Bay, I have Pastels, how they called the Blend Bunny one. So I have quite a few pastel palettes. And out of them, I've been using the most probably the Beauty Bay because it's only 8 pan palette, and this one will be close second because this one is also just a few pans, and I'm really into it. It's like I like the more compact palettes in general. I think it's great. So far I'm really happy, and the gray also kind of adds to the look, adds to the pastels. It doesn't overpower them, it doesn't make them muddy, it just exists with them together, which I enjoy a lot. I can feel that there is a magnet in the pan, but I cannot take out the palette, so maybe it's not actually magnetic to take it out. Anyway, this is so far what I have. I am enjoying this, even though I'm not the biggest fan of yellow and orange. This looks good. Yep, that's just what it is. It's very hot. My skin doesn't like it. I look sweaty, even though I'm not actually sweating, but I also used light reflecting foundation. So it gives a bit of a dewiness. And in conditions of very hot evening, under the bright light, I look a bit like a buttered pancake. That's life. Then I have a She Glam Soft Tan as my bronzer today. I didn't want the contour because I didn't want the contour. Then I wanted Latte by ABH, the stick blush. I really like the shade of this blush, but I doubt I will ever buy replacement for this in this exact format. As my highlighter today, I have Judy Doll Champagne Veil. Champagne Veil looks like this. This is a bit of weird packaging, but the stuff itself looks like this. I like that it's actually champagne, and it creates this glossy kind of finish on the face with a little bit of champagne in it. But not too much, just a little bit. Then on my lips I have Endless Cacao by Makeup Forever. As you can see, it gets smaller with time. It's one of my favorite pencils ever. Even though it's not like gel pencil, it doesn't set or doesn't do anything. It's just the shade that I'm really into. And on top of that, I used MAC Squared Plumping Gloss Stick. This is one of the new ones, and this is called Solar Sparks. Actually, it reminds me a lot on Tarte Plumping Gloss with golden sparkles and the Kaleidos new ones that were released not so long ago, I think. So yeah, if you are struggling with something like that and you maybe want something with golden sparkles, this is a transparent gloss or balm with golden sparkles. So I really enjoy this, and I kind of this is kind of what, third for me, second maybe. Yeah, collection is such a thing. Anyway, I guess that's pretty much it. That's all I have for now. That's all I have for today, and we have 2 more left. We have the purple and we have the blue green. But we will see it tomorrow in the new look. So it's been a while. We are getting back to our Clairvoyant, and I am gonna do the green to blue to gray. So I have a base that has been living on my face for a while already. That means that maybe not everything will stick nicely to it, but we will still try. I will start with the shade Supernatural. This is gonna be our, like, it's a simple gradient. Nothing too crazy about it, really. So I'm starting with the Supernatural into the outer shape, into the outer V, and I'm just bringing things slightly into the crease. I'm not gonna do the outline like in previous looks. I'm just gonna bring it to the outer shade, to the outer corner, and leave it there. So I'm just like that. Then I will go into the shade Intuition. It's a very light blue, and I first took the brush that is slightly more blending, so it's a pencil kind of brush. And with that brush, it's not really packing as I need. Best to use the flat brushes, just so you know. Flat brushes are the king of packing. Then I will go into the shade Second Sight, which is a lemony green. So it's both green and yellow. And actually, I think it would have belonged to the greens, to the yellows better in this scenario, but whatever. We will work with things that we have for today. It's not neons, it's pastels, so it's a bit different scenario, different situation. So I'm blending here and there, going back to Intuition and Second Sight. I'm going back and forth just to blend things together. I also used the Mitchell flat brush just to apply it a bit better on the eyes as well. As I said, flat brush is best for packing, and I need a bit of packing in here. Then I will go back to the Supernatural to get a bit more darkness on the outer corner and to blend them together with the intuition a bit better, so that I can have it in this nicer scenario. Then I'm pretty much okay with what we have here. As I said, it's pastels, do not expect like super bright something from such shades. And we're going to the shade Moonlight. This is our shimmer for this look. The Moonlight is the one we are going to apply just all over. I'm not sure that it actually duochroming. I think on the eye itself it's duochroming, but yeah, like nothing special, just a bit of a shine in here and little sparkles. But that's pretty much it. So now I think I need a liner, maybe some graphic liner as well, since I'm doing like a series of it already. For 2 looks I did. Now it's the 3rd one. So yeah, I will get the liner done and come back to you with the finished face. So this is the look, and I'm actually pretty happy with this, but they're very pastel-y. It's a user error for application. If you pack them with the brushes onto the fresh base, it will look better than what I did here. So if you need more impact, you need either white base, or you need to pack with the brushes, flat brushes ideally. And yeah, the best base should be fresh. For me it was quite a worn base, and that's why it's not as good looking as I was hoping for. But you can still see some separation of the color, a little bit of green here, a little bit of blue there, and a little bit of darkness on the outside. And I covered it all up pretty badly with my graphic of the, don't know, stripy zebra or tiger butterfly kind of thing. I don't know how to call that. I just had whatever, the flow was going. And I don't mind that. In general, I think that the design staying outside of the main lid is actually helping, like it does something. And with one schema, with one and the same look, you can change colors slightly, but you can add different types of graphics very thinly and just outline here and there. So yeah, that's so far it. The shimmer seems okay. It's duochroming. I can see some lilac and some green here. It's not like super bright, super in your face, but it complements the shades nicely. So it's mostly palette about mattes. And in the work, while you're working with the shimmers and with the palette in general, you can see that, you can feel that it's a palette about mattes. So yes, I think we are in a good state here. We have only one left. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do it today. Today I was filming quite some stuff again in products, and I tried to kind of jiggle here and there things. So yeah, one left, and hopefully I will be done. And then we will start something epic. So that's the look. That's what I got. Nothing crazy, nothing too special, just a little bit of things in here. What else do I have on my face, since we are pretty much done talking about the palette? On my face today, I have NARS in the shade Oslo. This is light reflecting. On Reddit, I actually read that they changed the shade itself in the new formula, new batch, whatever it is. So Oslo is not as pink and pale as it is in this old scenarios, and I'm so annoyed by that, because everything that I've tried and that was like cool toned or matching or good, I was liking it. Like, it's personal by MAC. Like this NARS slightly reflecting, they change it to a warmer tones. And according to one of the comments from Reddit, unfortunately I don't remember the username, they said that pretty much it's because of control quality not giving a shit about the color. They have like a sample and they kind of match it like close enough, and that's it. So it's not a problem of like the color, pigment, whatever. They just approve the batch because, yeah, whatever. That's sad. That's like very unfortunate, especially for us. But yeah, that's the reality. Then I have my Rare Beauty in Gentle. This is not a contour for me, this is a bronzer. I kind of like lately that I can have a bit more like warmth in the face. Like, it's neutral but still more warm compared to me. And this contour bronzer in Gentle is actually giving a bit of natural sun-kissed look. Not exactly like horribly sun-kissed. Not like the prolonged activity kiss, but more like just touch. So I like it in such a way. Then we have Rose and Bronze Yummy Skin by Danessa Myrix, one of my favorite colors from this series in general. And They disappear if you apply with a brush, but if you apply with the sponge, they stay. I don't know why, but that's just what it is. As my highlighter today, I have Jodie Doll Siren Beam. This is Glow Magnify highlighter. Magnify because the packaging is like a magnifying glass. This is how it looks. So it's slightly purplish blue, and you can see a bit of a color here. So it's not exactly like fitting to this greenish, but I thought that it's okay because we have blue, we have green. It's fine. This is fine. Then on my lips today I have this nude rose Miss Thais 780. This is a very nice pencil. I just filled my lips with it, and then I applied Gizu watermelon sugar, and I have to say that I'm applying this thing onto contoured, or like if I have a color on the lips in general, I do not apply it with an applicator that comes with it because I don't want to spoil. Because either you will need to wipe it after use, or you can use a spatula to get the product out of the brush or the applicator and apply it to yourself. I did this mistake of not wiping, not doing anything with my Dior lip oil, and unfortunately from clear now it's pink. I don't want to repeat this mistake anymore, and that is why I'm in such a way. But that's so far it. That's everything I have for now for today for this look. We have one more look to go, which we will still do together since it's the last shade and it's probably the most interesting out of them. And I will see you tomorrow in the new look. So this is the last look we're going to do together, and we are going to go into the smoky. This is a pastel smoky, this is nothing crazy, so I will start with the shade Trance. On a fluffy brush, I'm applying it to the crease and upwards in the blending motion. So I'm just swiping the shade here and there because I don't need to pack it right now. I don't want to pack it. I want this to be like a barely visible thing right now on my eyes, and I think it's working okay for that purpose. Then I'm going to do the same for the lower lid because we need to have something on the lower lid as well. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to the shade Mystic, and this will be the main lid shade. So I'm starting with the lash line and gradually bring it upwards to the crease, to the moving lid completely, so that I'm covering it. As you can see, they are mixing together really nicely, so one definitely goes into the other as they belong together, and this works totally okay. So I'm packing this shade. This one will be more important, but not as critical as one may think. It's just for us to, in order to grab the information about this shade. And I'm doing the same on the lower lid. I'm just packing it there, so it's just pretty much staying in the line. Once it's done, I can go into the shade Supernatural with the flat brush. I'm also packing it onto the lash line, but not bringing upwards too much. So approximately like 1/3 of the eyelid is going to be covered with that because I need the gradual darkening rather than something else. So I'm just packing the shade onto the area all over the lash line and bottom lid. Don't forget about the bottom lid. Gray here will act as a base for the Mystic and not the individual shade, so that's totally fine. Then I'm taking the same shade with a fluffy brush, the blending brush, in order to make the edges not so harsh, not so hard, not so strict, and that will be pretty much everything. I will go back to the shade Trance once again, to the shade Mystic once again, because I need to bring it back on top of the gray. This is the idea behind this smoky eye, and don't worry about blending, that it's not perfect, that something is not looking good. We will slap the shimmer on top of that. Nobody will ever know. Nobody is gonna know. So I'm pretty much happy with that, and our shade Visuals is the one that we are working with today. This shade is a true multi-chrome. You can see clearly how it shows that we have a green side, we have a peachy one, and we have a purple pink shade as well. So that's the shade, and I'm just applying it, dabbing onto my lid. You don't have to do much with this, it's just a little bit of a shade, and it's already having the impact it needs to have. Once it's more or less set, it has a blue base, by the way. So blue and purples are probably best for this shade to be applied on. And I'm taking then the empty brush that is slightly fluffy. like a blending brush basically, and I'm gonna go over the edges of this shade in order for us to achieve the bit more smoothed, not as hard lines, not as zebra lines kind of situation. And this look now only requires some liner. I think I will go with the gray one today. I kind of feel like it. And I'm not sure which eye contacts I want to use, because both with gray and blue and green and brown eyes, that will look wonderful. So it doesn't matter which eye color I would choose. Maybe I will get something yellow instead, just for the sake of it. So that's the idea for now, and I will come back to you with the finished face. So this is the last makeup look I've done with this palette. As you can see, I didn't change much. I've added some of these swirls here and the gray liner. That's pretty much all that I have right now, and you can see that it's a true multichrome, that it's shifting, and it has more than 3 colors, which implies that it's a multichrome. So what we have here is relatively simple but very nice. I actually like the lavender shades, and this palette provides very nice lavender shades in my opinion, even though there are only 2 of them, but you can make more if you want to. And overall, I would say this is totally good. I don't see any problems with creases or anything so far. On my base, on my eyelids, I don't really have problems with creasing much if I prepare them properly. If I don't prepare them, then the creasing is happening like crazy, and I have a few instances of some shimmering shades and some creamy shades that were like complete disaster. But anyway, so this is not the case of those shades, and this looks totally fine, totally normal to me. Nothing outstanding, nothing out of normal, nothing out of regular. So I'm very happy with the look in general. So, so far, what else do I have on my face? Just so we can get rid of this and go into the actual review. So I have Kevyn Aucoin Balm Foundation in light. This is what it looks like. A bit more neutral than I am, but it's fine. Nobody's gonna see me in this anyway. Then I have MAC Taylor Gray as my contour today. Taylor Gray is this one. I just wanted something kind of like a shadow, not a bronzer, because I feel like purples with a bronzer don't look that good. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, depends on the purple. Then I have MAC 2 blushes. One is Snob. This is the base blush that I used. It's matte and it's like a dusty rose. And then on top of that, I applied the La La Lavender, which makes any blush under it cooler in tone. This is what lavender is usually intended to do, and with the pink one, it just becomes more light pink, like more cool pink. So what you have on me right now is the combination of these 2 shades. I'm generally really liking this combo, and I'm pretty happy I go with both of them. As my highlighter today, I have Lavender Lover. And this is a Fenty Beauty highlighter, and you can see how it shines. This is the guy. On my lips today, I have my Mistake 776. It's the brown purple lip liner, just a regular lip liner. And on top of that, I've added MAC Stone. This is actually a multi-sculpt, but I was too lazy to get up and go and find the stone in there. So I just used this because it's standing right here. This is unfortunately how it works for me. But yes, a bit of that and a bit of this, and that's pretty much it. And now we can talk about the actual product. As far as I'm concerned, we have a very interesting brand. So I've been following Wicked Widow for quite a while. They have interesting collaborations like a Crow, like officially licensed products for some of the things like the American Psycho or Rocky Horror Show. So they have a very distinctive gothic horror kind of vibe, but I've never really felt like this is enough hooking for me to actually buy. Plus, I have a problem with extending my brands collection because it's very hard to keep up with all the brands all the time. But some time ago, they contacted me in Instagram and asked if I would be interested to receive their new launch in the mail, in the PR, and this was the Clairvoyant. So yeah, I agreed. They sent it to me to the address in the USA because because most of indie brands do not agree to send to Europe directly. But if I'm handling the shipping and taxes from the USA myself anyway, some agree to send to the address in the USA. So I try to make it a bit more comfortable for both of us because, you know, for me it's a choice either not getting anything or spending my own money on stuff. So I'm trying to be very selective about what I'm agreeing to, and I try to be like more open to actually like pay for shipping maybe, because it's very hard in the indie community to get anything like what you actually want. Let's say it like that. Either you buy it, like with a Bella Botte bar, I'm just buying it, or you have a rare chance to get a PR, and if it's only sent to USA address, then like it's fine for me. I would rather spend like $20 for shipping than full thing and not getting anything at all. Just a disclaimer. It doesn't mean that I will like everything that I'm getting in PR, but that's just the reality of working in this area. Not actually working, it's my hobby, but anyway, I'm talking too much today. So this palette came together with the flyer of Rocky Horror Show, and let's do a time warp again. And this palette comes in a box. Box is pretty much the same, just a bit bigger. It repeats the information about the pigments and like pressed pigment shades, that it has a vegan pigments, not recommended to use about the immediate eye area. This is a disclaimer specifically for the USA because some of the pigments are not approved by FDA, but the regulatory authorities in Europe are approving these pigments and they don't have to specify that, but apparently this is sold for the USA first and they are, yeah, approved for use in the EU, so you can definitely see it on the packaging as well, which is appreciated. So we have a net weight 19.2 grams, which is a lot for a palette of 12 shades. If you think about that, that's 1.6 gram per refill. That's a lot of stuff actually. And this is the palette we have inside. This is a pastel rainbow. So it's still a rainbow palette. It's quite a compact one compared, for example, to Blend Bunny. Because Blend Bunny is like a tabletop kind of palette. And Bella Botte Bar is even more tabletop than Blend Bunny. The Beauty Bay pastels do not exist anymore. They're not sold anymore. So this is one of the best format factors for me personally, because I prefer smaller palettes in general. Like 12 shades is great. 10 shades is okay. 18 shades it's the maximum. 20 shades is a stretch, but okay, maybe I can agree to that. But anyway, this is a pastel rainbow, and this palette has 4 shimmers. Only one of them is a multi-chrome. Others are slightly duochroming or doing pretty much nothing, so they're simpler in themselves, but it's a lot of product for the refill, so you have to be aware of that. I think it's actually magnetic, but it's very hard to take out the refill right now. I'm not sure why am I so not okay to taking out the refill, but it does magnet inside. Like I can feel it, but I cannot take it out. Maybe it's just for me right now, maybe it's just in general. So I cannot really tell. We have a good schema here because we have the gray as the neutral darkening shade for all of the others, and it can be worked through either the rainbow itself or it can be worked in couples. So you have like yellow and orange. You can do the orange and pink. You can do pink and lavender. You can do orange and lavender if you want. You can do yellow and green. You can do green and blue, and etc, etc. So you can work in couples, in pairs, or you can do the gray plus, or you can do gray and everything. So the possibilities are really there because it's a rainbow. You can mix and match the things as much as you want. The quality of mattes was okay to me. This actually stands quite close in terms of blendability and everything to Blend Bunny. Also, the shimmers also remind me about Blend Bunny in these terms because they are not right in your face like Bella. They are quite subtle, and most of them are just shimmering instead of actually like giving you some crazy sparkles and stuff like that. But this is a good quality palette. I don't mind it in general. I think it works nicely. Best to apply to a white base, but it also works without one. But however, when you apply without this base and without the packing brushes, you will lack pigmentation. So packing brushes and a white base will increase the intensity of the eyeshadow for you if you want to achieve more color with this. I had some troubles with the blue and green, but it's probably because of the non-packing brushes I used. So the application, your base and your brush will affect how pigmented the shadow will apply to your lids. This is just essential information, I think, and this is usually, if they are too semi-transparent, this is a user error. So if you apply it already and you start blending right away, this will be semi-transparent. So if you want color, you need white base, you need to pack onto it first, then blend. So you can blend out the extras and not the shade that is supposed to be packed in specific area. So overall, I think that works nicely. That has a relatively easy to work with. Generally, it's easy to work with this palette, and the shimmer shades are more dry than anything else. So the formula is more dry, and it's also why it reminds me of Blend Bunny so much, because they have kind of the same vibe. I would not be surprised if the factory they're made on is actually the same factory. But I didn't tell you anything. So I did a small swatch on the white base. My white base is by Day Day Signature. This is Ivory Grip. And you can see that gray works as the gray purple for the purple side, and it works as a dark blue if you are applying it with the blue nearby. So you can darken each of these shades with gray, and it will be the darker version of the same shade. That's why you can work in gray plus one color, plus two color. You can use gray by itself as well for any shimmer. It will work with anything. Gray is achromatic. It doesn't belong to chroma, and all the other colors in rainbow are chromas. So, and you have also multichrome and duochromes in here, which are corresponding to their matte shades as well. So you can use them as the base for that, or you can use them by themselves just as is. I'm pretty happy with everything that I've created with this palette, and of course that's not all possibilities. I cannot technically show everything that you can create with that, but it's still quite good. I liked to work with it. It was not like a huge blast, but it was not anything giving me a downsides or anything. And in this video I also tried to demonstrate how you can level up in interest of your eye look by adding just some graphic, very simple ones, very small elements, but they take the look to the next level, and this gives the interest to the overall situation. But yeah, as I said, the eyeshadow themselves worked normally. I had no issues. I had almost no fallouts as well. It's good. It's just a good palette. The price for it on the official website is said to be 42.95 in euros, which is a bit much for 12 shades probably, but you also get a lot of product, and the palette is magnetic apparently, and it's up to you to decide really if this is something you would need. If you are struggling and you need a pastel rainbow palette, or just a pastel palette in general, if you're lacking that in your collection, this can be a good candidate for it, because as I said, the Bella Butte Bar or Blend Bunny are quite a tabletop format. This one is a bit more compact, it's a bit more travel friendly, and it also provides good options. So having the rainbow already allows you to create lots of different mixes and different opportunities. Having the gray there is also allowing to create different things. So I'm generally very happy with the format and logic of this palette. I think it's a good option if you truly miss some pastels in your collection. But yeah, it's up to you to decide. I'm just here to tell you what I think about the formula and the palette and the combinations of things that you can create with that. And yes, let's have a look again on all of the looks, makeup that I've created with this palette, so that we can revisit our whole video in one small section. And yeah, I think I really love the oranges and yellows in this palette, but also gray and pink were really nice. So if you are up for that, maybe we'll recreate some. I will be happy to know about that. I will be happy to know your thoughts about everything. Have you tried Wicked Widow? Anything else? What do you think about it? Would you buy it? Would you buy another palette from the brand? Just curious to see, to have a conversation with you in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed creating it. And we will see each other really, really soon in the huge Boo Drops by Diveroon. This is a summer wind collection I'm gonna work for next couple weeks. So in a couple weeks we will see each other in that video, and if you are good for that, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video, and thank you once again for watching. We'll see each other really, really soon. Bye!